Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to my channel. Today, the title of my message is The Appointed Time. The Appointed Time. And so, I want to start off reading a few scriptures out of Ecclesiastes, the first through the eighth verse. And it says, To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, a time to steal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And so, time is what God uses to orchestrate our lives. That means He leads and directs our path through time. Through time. And see, that word appointed, it means to arrange carefully and sometimes unfairly to achieve a wanted result. I'm going to say that again. Appointed means to arrange carefully and sometimes unfairly to achieve a wanted result. So that means the good things that happen in our lives as well as the bad. In the end, God is bringing us to an expected end. And so God has an appointed time for each and every one of us. You know, that set time, meaning it's preordained by Him when God will manifest His promises. He will bring answers to your prayers. He will give you that open door. But it has to be in His timing. And you know what? God will answer. Sometimes He will answer you quickly. Some things will happen quickly when it comes to God. But for the most part, you're going to have to wait. There is going to be a period when you are waiting on God. And God does not tell you how long that wait might be. But we just have to learn to wait. And for most, for most of us, we don't want to hear that we have to wait. We want what we want right now. Right now. If God can give it to us, you want it, you can take it now. But see, God has His way of doing things. And for us, for the most part, we're going to have to wait on Him. There is a waiting period. And we have to learn to wait in the right way as well. Because there's a blessing in the wait. There's a blessing in the wait. And also, God is worth the wait, so that you can get the right results, that you want. It's best to wait on Him, because a lot of times we try to go before Him and do it our way. Do it our way, but God wants us to do it His way. So it's best to wait on Him. Do you realize it takes strength to wait on God? It is not easy to wait. It is not easy to wait. It takes us controlling our flesh. Making that flesh be still. Be still. And so, like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy to do, but God is worth the wait. And see, when you waiting on God, that just shows you that it shows that you trust Him. Because Jeremiah 17:7 says, Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord and who hope the Lord is. Because you have to trust Him in order to wait on Him. To wait on Him. And see, God knows when you truly waiting on Him for real. Because, we love to say things out of our mouth. But sometimes in your heart, you thinking of something else. That's not how you really feel. And see, God knows the secrets of our heart. He knows that hidden thing that you can have from people. You can have who you really are from people, but you can't have from God. God knows what you really thinking. Because a lot of people like to pretend. I say this is the generation of pretenders. Instead of people wanting to be who they are, they want to be somebody else. A lot of times it's just, to impress people or either for you to be accepted by them. So people doing all kinds of theatrics because they not satisfied with being themselves. But see, God, He loves us just the way we are. We don't have to try to impress God because He's not impressed anyway. He's not impressed by us. And so when you decide you're going to wait on God, God will step in and He will help you to wait. And I'm a witness. God will step in. He will help you to wait on Him. And God does so many things. Like I said, it's a blessing in the wait. God will encourage you through many different avenues. God will encourage you with words. Sometimes God will come, He will have people come to you with words of encouragement. And He will make it personal to you that you will know it's coming from Him. At different times during your wait, sometimes God will send you gifts through people. Sometimes you will be encouraged just by reading His word. And sometimes through hearing words through other people, through messages from your pastor or from, people, just ministers. Hearing words of encouragement along the way. And see, as I said, there's a blessing in the wait. And I can tell you a testimony because I'm waiting on God for a lot of things haven't came to pass. But in my wait, God always sends encouragement. All these things I have said, God have done for me. He has done for me. And I can just say, it's been a few months ago, one of my subscribers sent me a significant seed. And you know who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but I was really blessed by that because I'm not doing this to get money from people. I'm doing this for God. And, you doing this, I've been doing this for 4 years now. Consistently, I have been doing it because when I did it, when I first started doing it, I made up my mind that I was going to be faithful to it. And so I've been consistently doing this before. It's been a little over 4 years now that I've been uploading videos on Friday. And so sometimes you be, you think about, or you really making an impact or what it, because a lot of times you don't hear anything from God. God is just quiet. And then she sends me this seed. I received a seed from my subscriber. And it just let me know the Lord is saying that you are on the right path, that you are doing what I'm telling you to do. And I'm telling you, God can make your heart so full sometimes. And I want to tell you that you that sowed that seed in my life, that I pray to God that He gives it back to you 100-fold, a blessing, that God will answer those prayers that whatever you seeking God for, that He will answer those prayers. Because you're going to be blessed for sowing that seed unto me, because this is good ground. Because when I'm out here on this channel talking, I'm doing it as I've been led by God. And so God is going to bless you for your seed that you sowed. And I'm just saying that God, as I say, when you wait on Him, God will bless your life. He will bless your life, and He'll let you know that your waiting is not in vain. Your waiting is not in vain. And then I just think about how people, when they not waiting on God, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, because you going ahead of God and you doing it your way. For us, even when it comes to a spouse, because so many people are waiting on a spouse, but they not waiting well. They getting in a rush. Sometimes people, they get tired of waiting on God, so they decide they gonna do it their way. And then you hear so many people telling you that you got to put yourself out there. And you know they got all these sites that you can get on, these dating sites to meet people and all this stuff. And it's nowhere in the Bible where it says a woman should find her husband. It says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. So a woman shouldn't even be looking for a husband in the first place. That is not God's will for us. And if you believe God can orchestrate your life, then he can orchestrate you to find you the right husband for you. Because when you marry the wrong person, that person can end up being a monster. Not only that, but a person, they showed you they representative when you met them, but once you got into marriage with them, you find out that person is nowhere near who you thought they were, and now you stuck with that person. And even if you divorce them, you still gonna go through something to divorce the person because God didn't tell you to marry them in the first place. So it's best to wait on God. Look, I done did it my way. I went and married somebody. I didn't consult God about it. I ain't even know I had to consult him about it. But I'm telling you, you need to wait on God because when you marry the wrong person, or even if you marry the right person, it's going to affect every part of your life. Every part of your life. And so you want to marry somebody that's in line with God. Somebody that has the heart of God. No marriage is going to be perfect, but you want to get with somebody that God wants you to grow with. Because otherwise, it's going to be a hard way for you. I don't listen to what people say. People be telling you, like I said, that you got to get out there and show yourself and make stuff happen. I don't believe in that at all. And another thing, people can hurt you badly. People can hurt you badly. Like I said, people pretending to be something that they ain't. Like I said, showing you who they want you to be just to get you to marry them. And then once you get in a marriage with them, you find out that it's somebody that you really don't want to be with. So I would encourage you to wait on God. Wait on him. Because God, he blesses us when we wait on him. I think about, a lot of times people, they, instead of waiting on God, you get into a business agreement with somebody that maybe God don't want you to be in business with. Or either just you unknowingly, you don't know that this is the wrong person. I just think about the mistakes I made. It's been years ago now. I was much younger, and me and my cousin, we both did her. I did the braids, and she did everything else. And so we was talking about getting us a shop together. And so we had found this ad in the paper where this lady was selling her shop. But what it was, she was selling the things that were in her shop and the space that it was in because the building was owned by somebody else. But she had us thinking that she had some input into renting the space out. And so it was like in a strip mall. And so I remember we went to her and we was all excited. We didn't really want her equipment. Matter of fact, we told her we didn't want her equipment because we was going to put our own stuff in her. And so she wrote up this contract for us to sign, and we decided to give her some money because we wanted her to know that we really wanted this space. We gave her $1,000 a piece, and then we went to the bank and we got it notarized. We got it notarized at the bank. So we thinking it's all good, and so the next day, she calls us and tells us that the man did not want to rent the space for us, and so that was fine. And so I told her, "Can we get our money back?" This lady tells us, now this was she was an older Caucasian woman, seemed to be very sweet and kind, looks or deceiving, because she told us that we could not get our money back. And I'm thinking, why we can't get our money back? And it just was the whole thing. And so we ended up having to take her to court. We took her to small claims court. And we actually won the case because they say she misrepresented herself in the ad. And we never did get that money. because I didn't know that it was so hard to get your money through small claims court. You got to go through so many different things to get. If you lose money, you have to go through a different kind of avenues to try to get your money back. Because they were saying that we could put a lien on her house, and I didn't want to go through that long process, so I just let it go. And I let her know in court that she knew exactly what she was doing when she was taking our money, and that she was not gonna get away with what she was doing. Because when we went to the beauty shop and we was talking with her, she had just lost her husband. Then she was telling us her daughter had cancer. So I don't know if she was desperate for money and she decided to take our money. But I just counted it as a lesson learned, because I didn't consult with God at all. Matter of fact, I just did it on a whim. Just went on when we gonna go get this, try to get this shop. But I learned a powerful lesson that you should have legal counsel, and that you should never give nobody your money up front like that. You just never again will I let that happen. But I'm telling you, it could cause you to lose your money and everything else, your peace of mind, getting in business with the wrong person. So wait on God. Wait on God and seek Him for counsel on what you should do. Don't just jump into things, because it could cost you a lot. I'm just saying different things, because a lot of times we don't want to wait. We just want to jump out there. A lot of times you jump out there and then you limp back because you done got into something that you don't need to get into. And like I was saying, a lot of people we trying to put on this fake facade that we somebody we not. And so people going into debt, credit card debt, getting loans. They want to have the American dream, as I say. People, they can have good jobs, good credit and everything, and then you go and get these houses and these cars that you really can't afford. And so people thinking you doing well, but really you struggling every month. The bill collector is calling, and that's because you didn't want to wait. Just getting things little at a time instead of trying to get everything up front. And it end up costing you big. Can't even sleep at night because you're worrying about how you're going to pay for this stuff. So I would say wait on God. And so Psalm 27:14 says, wait on God. It says, wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I said, on the Lord. In Hebrews 10:36, it says, you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of God, you might receive the promise. And that 37 verse says, yet a little while he that shall come will come and shall not tarry. And so we have to learn to wait on the Lord. Learn to wait on the Lord. And so I want to go to 2 Kings, the 5th chapter. I want to read that 15th, that 16th verse, that 20 through the 27th verse. And so in this chapter, it was talking about the leper Naaman. Now he was a leper, and they had captured a maiden that was in Israel, and she had waited on Naaman's wife. She waited on his wife. She served his wife, and the maid began to tell his wife that there was a way for Naaman to get healed of his leprosy, and that the man of God, which was the prophet Elijah, he had the ability in him to heal him. The power of God was working through him. And so once Naaman went to inquire about his healing, he was actually healed. And then it leads up to this point called Gehazi. It talks about his servant as well. And see, Gehazi, he was trying to get something before time, out of time, and he was doing it through deceit, because he actually lied. But I'm gonna read about him. He was trying to get something that it was not time for him to get, and it cost him greatly. And so I want to go to that. What I say, the 15th verse. And for anyone that is new to the channel, I read out the King James Version, and it says, and he returned to the man of God he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in earth. This is Naaman talking. This was after he was healed. It says, I'm going to start over. And he returned to the man of God, and he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. And it says in 16 verse, it says, But he said, this is what Elijah said. He said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And urged him to take it, but he refused. He would not take anything from Naaman. And it says, in that 17th verse, it says, And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burden of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. And so I'm going to skip down to that 20th verse. It says, But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman this Syrian in not receiving of his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him, which he was not supposed to do this. This is something he did out of his own heart, because he wanted something that was not his to have. And so the 21st verse says, So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him, he running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master hath sent me. So he was lying. Sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents, and urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants. And they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in his house. So he put them up to taking the talents, because he told Naaman that the things that he was given to him was for his servants, but it was not. It was for him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? He was saying, Where are you coming from? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. He went no whither, meaning he was saying he ain't been nowhere. Basically, that's what he was saying. And he said unto him, Went not my heart with thee? When the man turned again, he seen everything that he did. God let him see it in the spirit. And he said unto him, Went not my heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it time to receive money? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper, as white as snow. So the deception that he did, it ended up hurting him in the end. So it was not even worth it. Basically, he was saying you should wait on God. You should wait on God. And so I just want to end this and say that the right time is God's appointed time. And so we have to learn to wait on him, and it shall come to pass. Whatever God wants to do in your life, it's going to come to pass. But it's going to be at his appointed time. Amen. Bye-bye for now.